That's my secret, cat. I'm always angry.
Alright. I ran out of patience. On the roost!
Hey everyone, Captain, big fan of Spider-Man.
Avengers! Assemble.
Hello, Peter.
Hello and welcome back to the Infinity Saga and Beyond an MCU Fan Podcast. My name is Jordan Wiegand, and we will be talking for the first time in 2 months here about Marvel, because there has been not a lot to talk about on the actual Marvel side. The last thing we've had come out was Quantumania, and we had some controversy not long after Quantumania with Jonathan Majors. We'll kind of talk a little bit about that later in the show. But we do have like 3 trailers to get through. We have an updated Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, the new Marvels trailer, and then we have Secret Invasion. So I was originally debating like last week to say, let's do a Secret Invasion episode, and then it kind of got by me, and then the Marvels came out with their trailer, so I was like, you know what, let's just do it all in one show. We'll get after it, right? We'll do this. We now know Secret Invasion is in June. I already have my guest lined up for that, but that's another 2 months, so I don't know the next time I'm doing another episode specifically of To the Infinity Saga and Beyond before Secret Invasion comes out. Maybe we'll talk about the comic Secret Invasion beforehand, but if you're subscribed to the YouTube, you'll only see the Infinity Saga and Beyond stuff. If you're subscribed to our audio feed, you also get our Elseworlds episode, which is our DC fan podcast, which now I have a co-host, Chris, who is on the show every week going forward, so you can check out those. Those are in your podcast feed if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes. Those episodes dropping probably about 2 a week, because I'm doing an update on my first watch through of the Arrowverse. So we kind of tell you ahead of time before we start spoiling stuff where we left off. And then, this last one we just did that will be dropping later this weekend is a talk about the Geoff Johns Flash Rebirth. So we're going to be talking about that. And then next week we're going to be talking about Superman American Alien. So tons of DC content going on because I have a co-host there, so it's a little easier to handle. And really this show, there's not a lot of Marvel stuff going on right now. DC does have Superman and Lois. It just had Shazam 2, so, Black Adam in October. So we've been having a lot of DC stuff actually being announced, or rumors breaking down. Marvel hasn't had a lot of that recently, except for rumors of like maybe slowing down, which is also part of the reason why we haven't had an episode in a while. I remember Secret Invasion, I think, was originally slated for like March. That was a rumor. Then it kind of got pushed to May, was a rumor, and then now June. So that gives us such a huge break from Quantumania, which I think some people need. I do think some people need the break. It was kind of nice to be able to have a break as well, but now I'm kind of gearing up where I'm like, oh, I kind of want Secret Invasion. So I guess we'll talk about that trailer not first. We're actually going to show the Marvels first. So let me go ahead and get that queued up, and then we'll watch the trailer.
Captain Rambo? What the hell are you doing?
Entering the jump point perimeter. I'm gonna get you some readings, Fury. Hello? Hello?
Captain Rambo?
Is this an Avengers test?
Where's Captain Rambo?
What the?
Hi.
We're looking for Kamala Khan.
Okay, so our powers are entangled. I can manipulate light energy, and you...
I could totally show you.
I'm not again! Hi.
Where's our daughter?
Wherever you were.
We're a team.
Oh, no, we're not a team.
We're not a team.
All right, so that's November, 2023. I think it's the 10th. But this looks pretty interesting with having the the powers making them constantly change places, and I think that can create for some really cool fight scenes, like we kind of see at the end here. But I also really just love this moment of Goose, just like totally eating whoever these bad guys are. And just kind of throwing Kamala into this whole world of, like, where am I? What is this? But, yeah, there's a moment at this, like, last battle here. Oh, there's also this. This lady that's going to come out here, right here. It looks like she's holding Ronan the Accuser's staff. And they do look like some Kree people also mixed in with some, like, humans. So I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. Is she did she find Ronan's staff? Did she take Ronan's staff and now kind of got all these people to follow her based on that? And I don't know. That's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. And then you have this like final, I don't know if it's the final battle, but you have, okay, I'm using my powers. I assume at some point when they're using their powers here, they can change and kind of try to surprise the villain with, I'm here, now I'm there, now this person's here. Or maybe at that point they're already unentangled, but it does sound interesting that their powers are kind of entangled. We saw that at the end of Miss Marvel. So very curious for this. Also, we got Saber Space Station, which some people are like, oh, it's not Sword, but apparently Sword, it could still be Sword with their space station called Saber. I don't know. We'll find out. Overall, I think that looks like a really fun movie. The trailer has great music. It looks funny. It looks like I've seen a lot of praise for it. So I'm very happy that people are seemingly really digging the look and the feel of the Marvels. And it's got like this mini team up feel, as much as Carol and Monica don't want to say it's a team up. It definitely is. Kamala's right there. They are a team. They are the Marvels. We're gonna get to see them in action. I'm really excited to see how they all handle and interact with each other. But it is just a teaser, and we are still like 7 months away. So we'll see how it all goes from there, and we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for the better, like another trailer that kind of tells us more of the plot and all that, but I'm really looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and queue up Secret Invasion.
Fury, since you've been gone, things have gotten much worse. How do you think I came back?
You're in no shape for this fight that lies before us, old friend.
This is personal.
Very few of us know about the wars fought in the shadows that have raged on this planet. Do you feel responsible? theme.
The great Nick Fury. One last fight.
That trailer is just so amazing. It's a really good trailer. Feels very Winter Soldier. I do think that this is going to be like a just total different tone. Now I'm kind of wondering, because I watched these two trailers back to back. I do think it's good to have, like, you know, the Marvels, which looks fun, and this one that looks like maybe a more thriller type, you don't know who you can trust type of story. But Nick Fury is in both of these. And I do wonder which one is supposed to take place in what thing. I assume the Marvels is actually before this. And my only guess on why that is because Nick Fury is at Saber Station in the Marvels, while in Secret Invasion, he's talking about coming back, and he's like back on Earth and doing stuff like that. So, unless if he was, you know, because we saw him last in space at the end of Far From Home, and haven't really seen him since. So I do think that then the Marvels should technically be next, and then Secret Invasion, though we'll watch them in opposite orders. Unless if, like, post-credit scenes tell us something different, or if they somehow set up him going to the Saber Station at the end of the show. I don't know. That's just kind of like the first thing I thought of, because it's like, I didn't think about it when I watched the Marvels trailer recently, you know, because it had been a couple weeks in Secret Invasion trailer, and I was like, whatever, like, I'll see it when I see it kind of thing. Like, I'll revisit it when I revisit it. And then watching these back to back, it's like, oh, right. They both have Nick Fury. Which is the order here? And I think I have it right. I think it is going to be the Marvels chronologically, then Secret Invasion. And one of the things that doesn't help with that, right, is the constant date changes for all these projects has kind of flipped, I think. I think Secret Invasion was supposed to be first at some point and got bumped, or vice versa. Marvels was supposed to be first. That was supposed to be February of this year, right? And then Ant-Man took its spot and then got bumped. Like, a whole bunch of different things happened over the course of these COVID times and post-COVID that I can't even remember the exact release dates of some of this stuff. But I do think at some point this was supposed to be first. It was supposed to be February of this year, and then you would have got Secret Invasion later. So in that case, it would make sense. In the case that we're going to watch now, it's just going to be probably like the Marvels as a prelude to this, maybe. I don't know. Secret Invasion looks really good. Like, I'm not a fan of the comic, really. I don't even think I finished it. I read it like maybe 4 of the, I think it's 6 issues, something like that, and just kind of the drive to complete it wasn't there. So if we do talk about it before the show, it's going to be me finishing it and then wanting to talk about it. But I didn't really care for the way that it was handled in the comic. This looks just like really, really good. This is, like I said with Winter Soldier, going back to that, who you can trust. It's not just like the tone of the trailer and it being more like a spy thriller type thing. The message is the same. Winter Soldier, we didn't know who to trust due to the Hydra infiltration, and now it's more of a, we don't know who to trust due to the Skrulls infiltration, which seems to be maybe some rogue Skrulls that were not a fan of maybe the way that they weren't protected at a certain thing, or something happened where they got upset and kind of thrown off with, upset with the other faction of Skrulls and upset with the humans, and is now turning against them and, you know, infiltrating that. So I do think we'll see some people here that are Skrulls. I don't think they'll really do too much of like the heroes are Skrulls. What I mean by that is I don't think we'll randomly see like Sam Wilson is a Skrull. I think you could see like Rhodey as a Skrull. I think you could see somebody like Martin Freeman's character as a Skrull, or, you know, not ever knowing who is or who isn't Skrull. Maria Hill could be one. Like, there's so many options that you can do with Secret Invasion. So really looking forward to it. Really excited to see how it plays out. It looks really fantastic. That's our next MCU project, by the way. 2 months away from Secret Invasion. And I guess let's get the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer. This is a final trailer, I think is what they called it.
Last night I had a dream about when we first met.
We were criminals.
Friends. And then we became guardians. This is the end of the road.
Let's make it count.
On May 5th, I will destroy the Guardians. It's time to say goodbye. Summer begins. It's a face-off. With their final tour.
I guess we'll die trying.
I am Groot.
I know who you are already.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Are you ready?
I was 8 years old when I left Earth.
You want me to drive?
No, I'll drive. Figure out how to put it in backwards.
In theaters May 5th. Rated PG-13. Tickets on sale now.
Peter driving got me good there. That was really funny. This looks phenomenal, by the way. I am a big Guardians fan, big James Gunn fan. Really excited to see this movie. I know some people are kind of down on Marvel lately, or even just down on superhero films or Guardian. You know, like the tracking. Some people are thinking the tracking's not high enough. The pre-sales are not high enough for this movie yet. I think it'll get there at a certain time. You may not even get that many pre-sales. I think the walk-ups will be there. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but my issue with that is I'm a huge fan, hardcore fan. Before COVID, I used to get tickets as the day they dropped for the Thursday or Friday, and yeah. So that is something that I've been thinking of. And now, since COVID, I'm not that way. I really only did for No Way Home, I think, where I bought tickets right away, and that's because it kind of had the feel that you had to get tickets at time. But even then, I did it the week of. Still was able to get 2 showings in that weekend without having to worry about bad seats or sold out shows. They add so many darn showings now on the weekend of. You don't even have to worry about buying tickets ahead of time. I think the last one I was really worried, like, we have to get tickets, was Endgame. So I do think some things have changed in that regard. For me, anyway, it has. I can now wait the week of. Just go walk up or buy the ticket online, you know, on the Monday before the Thursday. And part of it I've needed to do. There was one time I was going to go re-see No Way Home, and I was waiting until like the day of to buy tickets, and somebody in my family tested positive for COVID, so as a safety precaution, I did not go because I was in close contact with them. And if I had bought tickets in advance, that would have sucked. I would have lost money on it. So I do think now some people are a little bit more cautious with that. Plus, like I said, they add so many showings in a weekend because they know it's going to be huge that I usually don't have the problem of just being able to go the week of, log on, and buy tickets. So right now, I am a huge fan. The show opens up, right? Guardians opens up in what, 2-3 weeks? I still have not got my tickets. I'll probably wait until the week of. It may limit my options a bit, but it's not like I'm that worried about it in the sense of I usually end up okay. I usually end up on top. So I'm not actually that worried about You know, like there's my local theater I like to go to. They're a smaller chain. They have another branch in another little town that's only like another 15 minutes away from me, while the other one's like 10 minutes away from me. So if I don't get it there, usually the other one's not as busy. I get to go there. That's what I did for No Way Home. So there's this idea that people are like, well, you know, Marvel films usually really sell well. This is like not selling well right now. I think that this will, I think the reviews will be good. I think the word of mouth will be good. And I do think some people are just kind of overbuying tickets that far in advance. So many things can go wrong now if you buy tickets that far in advance. You might have to miss the show, might test positive for COVID or something and have to miss the show. Like, there's a lot of risks there. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert on it, but that's kind of my viewpoint on why I've stopped buying tickets so far in advance. It's not needed. I really feel like I can just get most of the showings I want to, no problem. Now, if you're in a big area that might have limited theaters, you might have to go and buy the tickets well in advance. But for me, I have the opportunity. Plus, like I said, they add so many shows. There was one time, you know, when No Way Home tickets dropped or whatever, I think I tried to buy it that day when they dropped. And there was no, like, 7 o'clock showing. There was, like, a 6:30 and a 9 o'clock. Well, guess what? It rolls around to the week of. Now there's a 7 o'clock. Now there's a 7:15. Now there's a 7:30. And you're like, oh, they added a whole bunch of shows. So that happens. And I kind of got screwed out of that a few times. So that's another reason why I've kind of waited now. I'm like, they'll just add the showing I want. Because I like the 7 o'clock type show. Because I like to get out a little early. Not have to worry about, you know, especially if I was going into the office the next day instead of working from home or something where I'm like worried about sleep. 7 o'clock showing. The movie's done by like 9:30, 10 o'clock. You're out. Some of these showings would be like 6:30 and then 8:40. And I'm like, whoa. Where is like an 8? Where is a 7? So then they usually add those later on. So I'm not sure how they determine those at some of these theaters, but that's my reason for not buying and jumping on the tickets right away anymore. All right, we'll wrap up the show with just a little bit of talk about the Jonathan Majors stuff going on here. If you don't know, Jonathan Majors was arrested. Was it technically arrested? I think so. He was charged with a crime of abuse, right, of his significant other, I believe she was. And he denied it, obviously. Now, they released some text messages that also they thought would help, but actually made it worse, I think. I think it did make it worse because the way that the woman, I don't think we know her name, which is good. Like, we don't need to know that. She was like very apologetic about it and said it was her fault, and it just sounded like an abusive thing. It sounded like an abused person. You know how they usually will try to, you know, maybe protect the abusive person and blame themselves. I shouldn't have done that. You know, I shouldn't have reached for your phone is what she said. So apparently, and the marks on her were from like strangulation. So again, right now we don't really know what's going on with that. And I don't want to get too far into it, but the reason why I bring it up is because Jonathan Majors plays Kang, who's supposed to be the next villain. And he was actually probably one of the only things in Quantumania that most people agreed with was really good. And I'm not going to sit here and speculate what they do going forward for him, because it's not really about that. You know, it's about the crime and the abused partner and all that kind of stuff. But the reason why I'm highlighting this is just because of the way that Marvel's approaching this right now. It's been a lot of quiet, a lot of silence. But on digital ads for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, there is no Kang to be seen. Perfect. Perfect. Look at this poster. This is not the official poster. This was not the official poster when it released. This is what's been on, like, coming to digital ads. It shows Paul Rudd. It shows Evangeline Lilly. And in the very, very back, it shows Kang floating. But not where you can see his face. And if we kind of juxtapose this to the main poster where it shows everyone, and you see Kang here, his face is visible. This poster, I don't know if that's official, but that has Kang on it. Now, the Blu-ray, it looks like, will have Kang on there. That's probably already been in production for so long. But these ads, I think they just scrubbed them out. It's either that or they really just want to focus on Ant-Man and the Wasp. But it does seem interesting. Like, this is another poster here. It just seems really interesting that the digital ad only shows Kang in this far back thing without seeing Jonathan Majors' face. So the reason I brought that up it may or may not be a sign on how they are going to handle Kang going forward, or, you know, I think at this point they're probably sitting back and waiting for more information. They're waiting for actual stuff to happen here. But if it does come out that this was really abusive, I can't see them sticking with him. I can't see it happening. People will bring up, like, Josh Brolin. Apparently he had some issues with that in the past, but I think that was well before Thanos compared to it actively happening while Jonathan Majors is Kang. So if that is what happens, we'll see, I guess. You know, he's innocent until proven guilty. So I guess we'll wait and see how it goes through the courts. And the lawyer said the charges would be dropped, and they haven't been yet. So I don't know. They also said they had, like, video evidence of the cab. So again, all this stuff is stuff that can change, can be flowing, can be stuff that we'll find out more later. But I just thought it was interesting the way that the ad was, and maybe that was how they were always gonna show that, right? Is they're like, we really just want to focus on Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it could be nothing. But I just found it interesting that he wasn't anywhere to be seen with his actual face, which they leaned heavily on in the actual promotion of the theatrical release. So, like I said, could be nothing, but just thought I'd point that out. But yeah, so that is our show for today. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for whatever content we put out for the foreseeable future as we build up to Secret Invasion in June. My friend Casey should be jumping on for those episodes. Same thing with Loki Season 2, which I think is supposed to be September now. So we'll see. But yeah, so I guess we'll see how it goes from there. But if you're interested in DC content, like I said, if you're watching on the YouTube, it's Elseworld, a DC fan podcast on our YouTube. If you're on our podcast feed, you already get it if you're subscribed to this show here. And I think I might be putting out an episode of The Pod Awakens on our feeds here just to see if anybody's interested in Star Wars talk. I do have a separate podcast for that, but just going to put it on here for the Celebration news. If you want to try out the show and then see if you want to follow it from there, it's called The Pod Awakens. And that's our Star Wars talk. So I've recorded a whole episode about all of the Celebration news, the 3 new films announced, TV trailers, all that good stuff can be found on The Pod Awakens. And I'll put that episode on this feed for anyone interested. But have a great rest of your weekend. I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend, and we'll catch you next time.